Test, 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 test. All praise and honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah. All right, all praises for another Sabbath day. Be able to come out to the streets, the highways and byways, and teach the word of God to God's people. All right, I'm the brother Nashon, New Wine Congregation of Israel. All right, come out here to speak God's word. Thus saith the Lord to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. All right, let me get this in the book of James. All right, I'm gonna start out in the book of James, Lord willing. All right, James chapter 1 and verse 1. All right, it says, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. All right, so the reason why I say the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad is because that's exactly what happened to the Israelites. The Israelites got scattered abroad during various slave trades going on, little man. You had the transatlantic slave trade, right? You had the sub-Saharan slave trade, the Silk Road slave trade. So the Arabs put us in slavery, the white man put us in slavery, and then you also had the Chinese people that put us in slavery. All nations that are on the face of the earth had a hand in putting God's people in slavery, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 83. All right, this is why James said to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. All right, Psalms chapter 83, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. All right, it says, keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. So God, the Most High God, Yahweh, has enemies on the face of this earth. Everybody don't love God, right? Contrary to popular belief. Most people will tell you that they love the Most High, right? That they dedicated their life to him, right? But the Most High, in his word, he says, lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. So it's people that's walking the earth that literally hate the Most High God. Now you would ask, why would someone do such a thing as that? How could you find it in your spirit to hate the Most High God who created you, right? I'm gonna keep reading though. It says, they that hate thee have lifted up their head, meaning what? They proud, right? They feel as though they don't have to serve anything other than themselves, right? It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. So God's enemies have taken counsel, meaning they came together, they come together. When you had a World Economic Forum, when you had these large groups of nations, everybody got their flag and they sitting at this big table and they talking about the world economics, right? But the black people don't have a seat at that table. You don't see an African-American flag at that table, right? You see an African flag, but you ain't African, right? The Africans put you in slavery. Those are Hamites, as the Bible calls them, right? Let me keep reading. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. They have consulted against thy hidden ones, because so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the fact that y'all are the children of God has been hid from y'all. Since y'all came over here on them slave ships, it's been hid from y'all that y'all are the children of God. Y'all been told that y'all niggas and Mexicans and Afro-Americans, right? Black is a color, right? I got on a black shirt. Nobody on the face of this planet is the color of my shirt, right? So it can't be your ethnicity. They calling you black, African-American, that's two different continents, right? You got Africa and then you got America, two different continents. You can't be both. Which one are we, right? So this is how they consulted together against God's hidden ones. This is how they hid you, right? It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And that's why you call yourself African American today. When you fill out that job application, you don't think to put down that you a Jew. You don't think to put down that you an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, from the tribe of Issachar. No, you check the box that say African Americans, because God's enemies have done a marvelous job at hiding, right? It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So when you got scattered in them different slave trades, the first thing that they did was they beat your culture out of you. They beat the language English into you. You used to speak Hebrew, you used to speak the holy tongue, right? The language that the Most High God gave to all the earth in the beginning. But now we speak a bastard's language, English, which is a conglomeration, amalgamation of English and Latin and French, a bunch of different languages mixed together, right? So we don't know who we are. They consulted against God-hidden ones. They said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. So all the nations, the Chinese man, the Arab man, the East Indian man, right, the African man, the Russians, the Edomites, they all sit at this table because they got one thing in common. The Bible says that they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom. Now, who is Edom? Edom is who the Bible calls, let's get that. Let's go to the book of Genesis. It said, the first name it said there was Edom, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. It says, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? So this is describing the birth of Isaac's children, Jacob and Esau. Now, Esau was the firstborn. The Bible says that when he came out, that he was red, right, and hairy, because the way the white man has described people is as black and white and yellow. But we went to elementary school, most of us, we know our colors. Ain't nobody walking around here yellow. Ain't nobody walking around here black. Right? Once again, my shirt is black, right? There's nobody on the face of the planet that's the color of my outfit. There's nobody that's white. That truck right there is white. So something wrong. They trying to throw some confusion, right? They said you black and we white. But the Bible said something different. What the Bible said, I'm gonna read it again. It said, and the first came out red. So it's a people that's on this earth that are red. When they stand in the sun too long, they turn red. When they blush, they turn red. When you slap them, they turn red. When they get mad, they turn red, right? They call themselves rednecks, right? So the Bible called these people Esau, Edom. So everybody is that the Bible, you read, a lot of times our people read the Bible and it's confusing to them. You read names like Hittites and Jebusites and Girgashites, and you don't know what them names mean. Right? Let me get this in the book of Ecclesiastes. All them people that the Bible named are still here on the earth today. Right? Nobody has gone away. They just changed the names. Right? Let's get that in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 16. It says, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. So them Edomites that the Bible talk about still here on this earth. Just like the Israelites are still here on this earth, right? Let's go back to Genesis. Let's go back to the beginning, right? What God said, he said, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. So this person was red, the blood showed through their skin, right? And they were very, very, very hairy people. That sounds like what we call white people today. Now, black men, we get hair, we grow beards, we can grow dreadlocks. Right? Our sisters sometimes a little hair, but we ain't hair like them white folks. That's a different type of hair. If Susan don't keep that Gillette razor, man, it's gonna be bad. Right? That's why they like to keep their razor on them, to shave their face smooth, because they are hairy people. The caveman, they been hairy, right? Walking on all fours. Let's keep going. It says, and after that came his brother out. Now when his brother Jacob came out, it didn't describe his skin. It didn't describe his features because Jacob looked like everybody else that was on the earth. He was a dark-skinned, melanated man. The Chinese people the only people on the face of the earth that don't have melanin is the so-called white man. Everybody was dark-skinned, but you see the white man went throughout the nations conquering, raping, pillaging, and lightening up the skin tones of people. But even with that, they got a recessive gene, so if a white man or a woman have sex with a melanated person, that baby still gonna have some melanin, right? But I digress. Let's go back to Psalms. talking about these enemies that God got, right? How y'all heritage got hid from you. Psalms 83 and verse 6, it says the tabernacles of Edom. So Edom is the #1 enemy that God got. It says, and the Ishmaelites. So the Ishmaelites is who you call the Arab, the real Muslims, right? The Bible say that they his enemies. So when you look at what's going on in the news over there in the so-called Middle East, you see the Arabs, the Iranians fighting against the white man, right? But they both God's enemies. So we don't want neither one of them to win because they fighting over a land that belonged to us in the first place, right? It says of Moab. Moab is who you call the Chinese man today. Just like the Bible said in Ecclesiastes, there's no end of all the people. All them names that the Bible names as people are still here to this day. Moab and the Hagarenes, which are Africans, Gabal, Africans, and Ammon, which is the Japanese man, right? They God's enemies too, right? It says who else? And Amalek. Amalek is who you call the Jewish man, which is a tribe of Edom. So these are God's enemies that is naming. It says, and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. It says, Ashur also is joined with them. They have Hopen, the children of Lot. Right, so I want to read something real quick in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Right, this is why it says that reading is fundamental. This is why they took so long to let our people read books when we was in slavery, because they knew if we started to read, then we would gain some type of education about ourselves. Right, so I'm gonna read this. This is Zondervan Bible Dictionary, the definition of Ham. Now, any of you have not read the Bible, Ham is one of Noah's sons. Right? After the flood, there were only 8 survivors, right? Noah, his 3 sons, and their wives, right? So I'm gonna read this. It says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. So we're talking about Ham. It says he became the progenitor, or the father. The progenitor is the father of something, right? The progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. So Zondervan is what you would call a white man. A black man didn't write this book. You got a white man telling you out his mouth that you Negroes don't come from Ham. You niggas don't come from Africans. Y'all 2 different types of people, right? Let me read it again. It say, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So the Africans, which is Egyptians was Africans, not them light-skinned Arabs that's over in Egypt today, right? But the real Africans, Nilotic Africans, pure blood Africans, they come from Ham. So what's the difference between what the white man calls a Negro and an African? So what I'm out here to tell you and let you know is that you so-called Negroes, you so-called black people, come from Israel. Y'all don't come from, you're not an Egyptian. It's ridiculous for our people to try to cleave on to heathen customs, right? It's ridiculous for us to do that. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. We got our own customs that God gave us. Beautiful customs, right? Jeremiah chapter 10. And verse 2, it says, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So the Bible tells us clearly, the children of Israel, we shouldn't learn the customs of the heathen, right? You know what a custom of the heathen is? You know what a custom is? What's a custom? What would you say? Customized shoes, right? Okay, that's a type of, that is one definition of a custom. But in this instance, customs are talking about a person's culture. So I'm gonna give you an example. You see how everybody celebrate Christmas? That's what you call a custom, right? Or Halloween, everybody put on a costume, right? The root word or the main word in costume is custom. So customs are something that people do It's like a tradition, like Thanksgiving, right? You understand? So God, let me read you what God said, right? This is the book of Jeremiah 10 and verse 2 again. It said, thus saith the Lord. So the Lord said this. It said, learn not the way of the heathen. It say, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. So all the customs that we grew up learning, like Halloween, Thanksgiving. You know what Thanksgiving is really about? Family time. That's what we've been taught, right? The first time that they celebrated Thanksgiving, it was a celebration of the white man killing 70 million Native American Indians. That's the truth about Thanksgiving, but they're not gonna teach you that in school because they want you to think that everything that they taught you is right. But is it okay for somebody to just kill 70 million people? Little babies, little girls, old ladies and stuff like that? Nah, that ain't okay. But that's what Thanksgiving is about. You know what Native Americans are, right? Indians, you ever heard of Indians? Okay, those are the people who lived in America before anybody else got here. So before the Pilgrims, you heard of Christopher Columbus? They taught you about him, right? What they told you about Christopher Columbus? It was a long time ago. You say what? Third grade. But you remember them teaching you about him, right? They told you he sailed over here on a boat and discovered this land. It's like the day they have a holiday called Columbus Day. Well, y'all might not have to go to school on that day. But Columbus is responsible for raping and killing over 70 million people. And they got a holiday named after him. Is that okay? So how old you? 11 years old, and you know that ain't all right. So common sense is common. You don't have to be a college graduate to know right from wrong, but you know killing 70 million innocent people ain't okay. But that's what Thanksgiving is about. So today, you learn that it's about family time. They give you a week off from school. They give your mom and dad, they probably off from work, and everybody come over and eat turkey, right? But where that comes from is from something evil that you just learned. It comes from them killing 70 million people. So every time you sit down and eat that Thanksgiving dinner, that's what you really celebrate. That's their custom. But God gave you your own custom. Did you know that you were a king? You know God looked just like you? You feel your hair. What it feel like? Feel nappy, right? You know God got nappy hair? I'm gonna read it to you in the Bible. Watch this. I ain't gonna lie to you. Watch what God say. You look just like God. I want you to always remember this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1. Y'all too. You got hair like him. That's your brother? Cousin? Okay, you just got a haircut. Look nice, man. If you let your hair grow, it'll look like theirs, right? Yeah. So you got nappy hair too, right? Watch this. Look, I'm gonna show y'all. All three of y'all look just like God. Watch this. What the Bible say. This is what it say about Jesus. Y'all heard about Jesus? Watch this. It say Revelation 1 and 14. It say his head and his hairs. So it's talking about Jesus' hair. The hair on his head and the hair on his face because he had a beard. It say his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. Y'all ever seen wool before? Wool is what grow on a sheep. You ever seen a picture of a sheep? If you look at a picture of a sheep, hair, it looks just like your hair. Nappy. Just like y'all hair. So this the kind of hair it say Jesus got. Y'all know Jesus is a black man? He was a dark-skinned man. It say his hair was like wool as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. It says, and his feet like unto fine brass as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. So you got on slides. Take your foot out your slide. So your foot, the same color your arm, right? Your foot, the same color the rest of your body. So it say that Jesus' feet was like a piece of metal. If I burn something, what color is gonna turn? Black. So it said his feet was like something that got burnt in a furnace. So what that mean about the color of his feet?
It was black.
It was black. It ain't hard, is it? So let me ask you this. If that's the case, that Jesus' skin was black, why every time they show you a picture of Jesus, he white? Somebody lying, right? Is God lying in the Bible, or is they lying on the movies and stuff?
They lied on the movie.
They lying on the movie, because we just read that God got hair like y'all. And his skin on his feet is the same color the rest of his body, right?
So he not light skinned?
He not light skinned. He dark skinned.
You know what they be saying on YouTube?
They be saying he light skinned, but somebody lying. So what y'all need, you see this picture right here on the ground? That's more like what Jesus looked like. That's what I just read out the Bible. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. So that's how his hair is, right? His hair look nappy, right? That's what wool look like. That's what your hair look like. That's what your hair look like. And if you let your hair grow, your hair gonna look like that. So what y'all need to understand is that y'all are God's children. So being that y'all are God's children, y'all gotta carry yourself like God's. You going to church tomorrow? Well, when you go, make sure you follow. You know how to read? You don't know how to read yet? That's all right. You got to practice on it. I didn't know how to read, but I had to practice. So you will learn, just keep on practicing, all right? You can do anything you put your mind to. But you got to learn how to read, because this is your book. You know how to read. This is your book. This book, you do? You got to start reading. Read it every day. And if you don't understand something, ask an adult that do understand. All right, y'all got YouTube? You ain't got no phone. That's all right. That's all right. But what you need to, all you need to remember today is that you look like God, man. He look just like you. And you one of God's people. All three of y'all. All three of y'all is. God gave his people commandments though. Laws, statutes, and commandments. You know any commandments? You know some? I got some right here. It's the 10 commandments. The first one say, you shall have no other gods before me. So, you know what that means? No? What you think? Clap it up for that, brother. You exactly right. I couldn't have put it better myself. You can't say it again. Say it on the mic.
You can't put nobody before God.
Exactly. You can't put nobody before God. Not even yourself. Not even yourself. Very good, young man. Because if you do, you worshiping another God. What's something people put before God? Shoes, clothes, what else? Shoes, yep. Food, you absolutely right. They put food before God. Drink. Man, you right. You absolutely right. You said something real powerful, young king. You said they put food before God. Do you know that God has laws about what we can and cannot eat? I'm gonna show you something. Y'all eat bacon?
Yeah.
You eat bacon? Pork chop? Pepperoni? What animal did that come from?
Pork chop come from cows. Pigs.
Pigs, exactly. Pork chop come from pigs. Pepperoni come from pigs. Bacon come from pigs. Now they make some bacon that come from turkey or cows, which is called beef bacon, but a lot of it come from the animal called the pig. I'm gonna show you something about the pig real quick. This is what God said. This Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. It say, and the swine, so swine is another word for pig. Y'all got me? So it's talking about the pig. Though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So if God say that a pig is unclean, should you eat it?
No.
No. You shouldn't eat it. You're absolutely right. But God telling us here, it's unclean to us. But what do people eat every morning? Eggs and what?
Bacon.
Bacon. And bacon and pancake. They put that bacon right there beside it, right? But God said he is unclean to you. It says of their flesh is the meat, the pork chops, the ham sandwich, the double bacon cheeseburger, the pork chop, the pepperoni on the pizza, the pork sausage. That's what it means when it say of their flesh. Of their flesh ye shall not eat. God said don't eat it. So should we eat it anyway?
No.
No. You know what it's called if we eat it anyway?
Disobedient.
Disobedience. You absolutely right. Another word for disobedience is called sin. Sin. If we keep sinning, God is not going to be pleased with us. So y'all going to keep eating pork? You said no. What about you? You going to eat some more? Pepperoni? Yes? You shouldn't eat it. What about you?
You being sin.
You ain't gonna eat? All right, that's what I'm talking. Y'all clap it up for yourself. You shouldn't eat it. Because if you keep, I'm gonna tell you something real. It's not good for you. You ever see some people that old, it's hard for them to walk. They probably been eating pork all their life. You ever see some people get old and they have a heart attack? They have high cholesterol, high blood pressure. All that's a side effect of eating pork. Yeah, if you get, a lot of times people get sick, it's because of the food that they eat. But God tell us what we should and should not eat. You understand? What about shrimp? Y'all eat shrimp? You eat shrimp? What about crab and lobster?
Yes.
Okay, now you said it. You was like, God, people put food before God. So that means that food is their God if they do that, right? So I'm gonna tell you something about shrimp and lobster and crab. So that's all called seafood, right? So this is what the Bible say. This is Leviticus 11:9. Seafood broil. So you know what I'm talking about. So this is what kind of seafood you can eat. It say, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales. So what kind of animals in the water? Fish. Very good.
Like you gotta get a fish when I just catch the fish.
That's how you catch fish. So the Bible say that you can eat seafood, but it's gotta be fish.
Y'all like crabs?
Crab is not a fish. A crab, you ever seen a spider?
Yeah.
You don't like spiders? Would you pick a spider up and eat it? That's what a crab is. It's the same thing, it just live in the water. What about a roach? You'll eat a roach? Nah? Y'all don't want to take a roach and dip it in some cocktail sauce? That's what a shrimp is.
That what you do?
No, of course not. But that's what shrimp are. They the same, they come from the same family called an arthropod. They come from the same thing. So a shrimp is just a roach that live in the water. A crab, look at a crab. Don't it got all them legs? Like a spider. It's just a spider that live in the water. So God said we ain't supposed to eat none of that. But guess what? That's our custom to eat that stuff. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the customs that we grew up having are bad for us. Thanksgiving, eating shrimp, crab, and lobster and pork. Just because we grew up doing it and it seemed normal, don't mean that it's okay with God. That's why I say it's so important for y'all to read.
Y'all like God don't like ugly.
He don't like ugly. And he don't like us eating shrimp, crab, and lobster either. You understand? So you can eat seafood, but it's gotta be fish. And it's gotta have fins and scales.
Can you tell them what's behind Thanksgiving?
Behind Thanksgiving, you tell them. Tell
He
them.
said, y'all know Columbus? He was like, how many people he killed?
70 million.
He killed 70 million people, and that's what we celebrate on Thanksgiving.
That's what you celebrate. And every time you celebrate Thanksgiving.
So who killed 70 million people?
The what they call the pilgrims. You ever heard of the pilgrims? When they told you about Christopher Columbus?
Eagles?
He said the eagles. That's deep. Not the eagles, but the pilgrims, the people who sailed over here. See, a long time ago, let me turn this around. Y'all know how y'all people got over here, right? Black people. Y'all know how we got over here? Slavery. You're absolutely right. Smart young man. Let me show you something. Y'all see this sign? See this map? Where is it? This is America. This is where we live. We used to live over here in Africa. You see all these lines and arrows? That's where they took us on slave ships. So we was over here, and the white man came on slave ships and made us get on them, and then they sold us everywhere you see them arrows going. They killed over 200 million of us just bringing us over here. But see, they want y'all to forget about that. But that's your history. That happened to your people.
That's a clock in this?
That's a scripture. That's Leviticus 26 and 43. So I'm gonna read that. Let's read it. Leviticus 26.
Can you talk more about Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving? Yeah, sure.
How they make turkey? How they make the
So isn't that wrong with eating turkey? Isn't that wrong with eating turkey? You can eat turkey, but the celebration of Thanksgiving in itself is wrong. So I read this to him. I'm gonna read it for y'all, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, and verse number 1. It says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord has spoken unto you, O house of Israel." So what y'all need to understand is that y'all come from the house of Israel. Y'all race, what would you say your race is? African, Black American. What about you?
African Buddhist culture?
African. You keep saying African, right? Because that's what they taught you. But y'all not Africans. Y'all not the same people as Africans. Africans are black people, but just because somebody got dark skin don't mean that they the same people. You understand? Y'all come from the nation of Israel. Israel is who Jesus comes from. He comes from a man named Israel and a tribe called Judah.
I got a question.
What's your question?
Why his eyes red?
Why his eyes red? I'm gonna read it to you.
No, I want that. Wait, we're behind Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna keep teaching about that. Hold on, let me answer this question real quick. He want to know why his eyes red, right? That's a good question. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8. It says, "Judah, thou art my brethren. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise." It says, so Judah is the tribe y'all come from. The man named Israel had 12 sons, and Judah is one of them. That's who Jesus comes from, right? It says in verse 12, it says, "His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk." So that's a metaphor. That's what you call a metaphor. But Jesus literally used to drink wine. There's nothing wrong with a grown man drinking wine, but when we drink wine, the white parts of our eyes turn red like how his is. So it says his eyes shall be red with wine, but on a spiritual level, it's talking about his eyes being red with wine, talking about his understanding of the Bible. He understood the Bible, right? That's the real wine. So that's why his eyes is red. But as far as Thanksgiving, let me go back to Jeremiah. Right, Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. So it says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel." So y'all are the house of Israel. Y'all come from Israel. That's your nationality, Israelite. You understand? Not black, because my shirt is black, right? Your short's black. Is anybody that color? We might be dark skinned, but we like dark brown though, right? We not black. Y'all know y'all colors. Ain't nobody black. So they lied to you. Again, they told you you was black. They didn't tell you was a prince that came from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. They told you was a color in a crayon box. And see, we grow up and be grown men, old men, and we still think we black. But y'all know better now, right? So don't call yourself black. You call yourself a prince, a king from the nation of Israel. Y'all royalty, right? So it say, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. You listen? It's your question, it's your answer. So it say, learn not the way of the heathen. You know who the heathen are? Heathen is another word for the nations. So the heathen is everybody that don't come from the nation of Israel. So white people, Chinese people, Arab people, East Indian people, Japanese people, all of those are heathens. Japanese people, all of them are heathens, right? The Bible say, learn not the way of the heathen. So the heathen is who made Thanksgiving, because that ain't your custom. God gave you different type of Thanksgiving is a feast, right? It's where people sit down and eat a bunch of food, right? So God gave y'all feasts to keep. He gave y'all his feast that he wants y'all to keep, right? So I'm gonna read this in the book of Leviticus. See, it's other kids that's y'all age that know this stuff because their parents taught it to them. But y'all know about Thanksgiving and Christmas because that's what y'all parents taught y'all. And that's what their parents taught them. You see what I'm saying? But now y'all learning something. Now y'all learning the truth, right? So this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, even these are my feasts. So Thanksgiving ain't one of his feasts. Christmas ain't one of his feasts. Celebrating your birthday ain't one of his feasts. Easter is not one of his feasts. Y'all celebrated Easter? What y'all did on Easter? Went to go find some eggs, right? Boy, that's a good question. Like this or like this? I'm gonna read it to you in the Bible. But y'all say y'all want to find eggs. Do a rabbit lay eggs?
No, like
A rabbit don't lay eggs.
tell me about Thanksgiving.
So why they got the rabbit for Easter?
Like over 70 million people because
Yeah,
they didn't like it.
they stole this land from them. That's why. Because who was living here first?
So Thanksgiving is really just celebrate all the dead people.
It's celebrating how they stole this land from them dead people. They stole this land from them. Is it all right to steal? Can I steal your bike? Why not? It's yours, right? So this land belonged to somebody before Christopher Columbus them came over here.
Like, if you steal your bike, that's gonna be
That-
disobedient.
That's disobedient, you're right. But that's his bike. So just like that's his bike, this land belonged to some people. It was families that lived in this land. The Cherokee Indians, the Seminole Indians, a bunch of different tribes of Indians lived over here. Before Christopher Columbus them came over here with them diseases and killed them people. Over 70 million of them, right? So I'm gonna answer your question about praying. That's a very good question. So you gotta listen to this to get the answer. You gotta listen very carefully, because I'm not gonna tell you what I think, I'm gonna tell you what the Bible says. Right, so this is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8. So we had one of your ancestors was a king. His name was Solomon. Solomon was richer than anybody that ever lived. He was wiser, smarter than anybody that ever lived. So remember that name, Solomon, King Solomon. That's one of your ancestors. That's one of your great grandfathers. That's your people. You understand? You come from a line of kings. King David, King Solomon. He had sons, King Jeroboam and Rehoboam. That's who y'all come from, a line of kings, not football players and rappers. Y'all greater than that, right? So I'm gonna read you what your ancestors said. It's the book of 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 54. It says, and it was so that when Solomon had made an end of praying all this prayer and supplication, it says, unto the Lord, he arose from before the altar of the Lord, from kneeling on his knees with his hands spread up to heaven. So what does that look like if your hands spread up? There you go. That's your answer. So why we do this? It ain't. That's a heathen custom. You see how many lies they taught you? See how I just went in the Bible and showed you the answer? Because the answers are in the Bible. The answer to any question you got is in this Bible.
If you do it like this, God is going to not come to your sins like you.
Well, the difference between you and the average person is you know better now. So I ain't gonna say that he won't listen, but that's not our custom. That's not how we pray. We pray like this, or like this. That's how we pray. That's how all our ancestors prayed. I don't know where this come from, but we pray like this with our palms spread to heaven.
Hey,
So
this how y'all pray?
that's how we pray. We kneel on our knees and we do like this.
But on YouTube, they be like this. Boom. So, back on YouTube, they be like this.
But what the Bible said to do.
They swear like this.
So which one we should do?
This.
There you go. So guess what y'all can do now? Teach somebody else. Yeah, it don't matter how old you is. Now you know what the Bible say, right? Did I make that up? I just read it to you. So now you know what the Bible say. Now you can teach her. And you can teach your mama. You can say, I read in the Bible that King Solomon prayed with his palms like this. You can say you read it for yourself in the Bible. So that's the answer to your question. So no more Thanksgiving. What y'all gotta do is learn the feast of the Lord. The Lord got feasts. God got feasts that he want us to keep.
I got a question.
What's the question?
I thought that Christmas was y'all was God.
You thought it was his birthday?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you gotta do, y'all old enough, y'all got phones and stuff. You can research. You could do your own research. Christmas is not in the Bible. Christmas is the celebration of another god called Saturnalia. That's what that is. That's a Roman god.
But I thought if God shall not come before
Wait, say it again.
I thought if God should not come before God.
You see how, man, y'all so smart. You absolutely right. It said right there. I'm gonna read it in the Bible. You absolutely right. See how easy it is? The kids can learn it. It's different types of gods. You absolutely right.
Different world.
They said
So-
it's free heaven.
It is. Getting into some heavy stuff now, boy. Listen to this. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 1. It says, and God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord. I am thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So that's plain. God said, don't worship nothing else but me. But when you celebrate Christmas, you celebrate another God.
I thought it was on that God.
There are a bunch of gods, but there's only one most high God. There's only one true God. It's the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the God that made everything. The reason I know that for a fact is because this book can tell the future. This the only book that can tell the future. It's got prophecies in
I
it.
got a question.
What's your question?
But like, how, like, was that person, like, was God ever on earth?
Was he on the earth? His son was.
No,
The
like,
Most
how
High.
did God,
Like,
how did, no, like,
he asking like how God was created and like how can
yeah, like that.
The Most High God, his name is Yahweh. He wasn't created. He has no beginning. It's hard to think about, but he created his son. Let me read this, right? Let me go to the book of Colossians. Y'all got great questions. Great questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So this is the book of Colossians, chapter 1 and verse 15. It says, I'm going to start at 14. It says, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sin. So that's talking about who the world calls Jesus. Hold on. Wait, let me answer your first question. It says, who is the image of the invisible God. So Jesus is the image of the invisible God. So the Most High God, nobody has ever seen. You can't see him and keep living. That's how powerful he
So
is.
nobody's seen God on earth.
Nobody has seen God on earth.
So
It-
AI. So AI.
AI is just what it is. Artificial intelligence.
Will you be sitting there watching?
Absolutely. That's called regeneration.
No, it's
Absolutely.
No, I heard
You probably done been here before, I guarantee you. The questions you asking, you done been here before. Guaranteed. You too. Y'all probably, all three of y'all done been here before.
I have a question though, but like, is it true that AI taking over the world?
It seemed like it. It looked like it, man. People ain't gonna know the difference between what's real and fake in a minute.
Yeah, cause on YouTube, Javon, him, my brother, my little brother, he be watching he be searching for see God in the sky, then on video,
It like
See, yeah, so
and then
let me read y'all something. So Christ warned against that. He warned us. See, this is how you know the Bible real, because he warned us about that way a long time ago. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 24. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 23. It says, "Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not." So he didn't say they gonna be doing AI, but he already knew all the way in 2026 it was gonna be people saying, "There go God, we seen him in the sky." Right? I'm gonna tell you how you know it's false. It say, "For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall show great signs." A great sign is if you can create some technology and make it look like God in the sky doing like this. He can, but I'm gonna keep reading. Listen to this. It's in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Deceive means trick somebody. It say, "Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not." Listen to this. This is how you know. What's going on, King? It say, "For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be." So if it's lightning in the sky, don't everybody see it? The Bible say that's how it's gonna be when Jesus come back. Everybody gonna see it. Not just some people on YouTube and stuff like that. So when he come back for real, y'all gonna know it, because you gonna see it. The whole world gonna see it. That makes sense? So that AI stuff, that ain't real. When people, if you see it on the computer or YouTube, but you didn't see it in real life, that mean it wasn't real. That's how you know he ain't come back. What's going on, bro? You doing all right? I'm glad you came back. You a man of your word, man.
So you can't hide.
You absolutely cannot hide when he come back. Can't nobody hide. What's gonna happen when he come back? What's gonna happen? I'm gonna answer your question. This is what's gonna happen when he come back. A few things gonna happen, right? So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter. Let me see what I was. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. So it says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire." So when he come back, the first thing it say he gonna do is come with burning everything. Burning everything. Why you think he gonna burn so much of everything?
7 trumpets, I heard about it.
Yeah, man, you smart. The seventh trumpet gonna blow. When the seventh trumpet blow, that's when his people gonna be put back in their land. Y'all gonna get the kingdom of heaven. But first, before that seventh trumpet, you gonna have the sixth trumpet. And when that sixth trumpet blow, it's gonna be a lot of destruction. That's when they gonna try to fight against God. but they're going to lose that fight, right? So I'm going to keep reading. It says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind. So when they say his chariots, you ever seen them things they call UFOs? That's what it's talking about when they say his chariots. What's going on, brother? Them so-called UFOs, that's why the government don't know how to explain them. Those are angels in them things. That's why they fly like this and zip up and down and move all kind of crazy.
They got wings.
A lot of people gonna die. I'm gonna read it. It say to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. So when Christ come back, it say he's gonna be furious. He gonna be mad, right? It says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. So what do you do with a sword? Fight with it. To do what? The people. To kill people. That's what he gonna do when he come back. He gonna kill a whole bunch of people. That don't spread the gospel. You're right. It says, and the slain mean dead. It say, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So a lot of people gonna get killed by the Lord when he come back. That's what's gonna happen. Some people, a little bit of people gonna get saved, but most of them gonna die. We just read it, right? So that's your answer. So that's why it's so important to keep God's commandments, so that you don't die, so that you can be saved and not killed. Because the people who want to keep eating pork, even though God said stop eating pork is unclean, them the people that's gonna die.
So like, why do everybody have to die?
Everybody don't have to die. Everybody don't have to die. Some people won't die. Some people won't die. Some people will be born, and from the time they born to the time Christ come back, they won't die. He might come back in your lifetime. We real close. One thing I can tell you for sure is we real close to him coming back. It ain't gonna be much longer because it's too many prophecies coming to pass. That's how I say I can tell you the future with this Bible, because this Bible got what you call prophecies in it. Prophecy is God saying something before it happened. That's what a prophecy is. Let me read it to you. Right? It's the book of Isaiah.
He did not steal that joint.
This gonna be on Facebook.
This is gonna be on YouTube. I might put it on Facebook. This the YouTube right here.
I got the YouTube.
Oh yeah, he got it. That's y'all kin.
No, they're my homeboy.
Okay, yeah. Show them, put them on the YouTube.
I do it when I go get my phone.
Okay. That's a highlight. So this is what prophecy is. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 9. It says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So all prophecy is God telling us something gonna happen before it actually happened. God said in the Bible, he give us warnings, exactly. God said in the Bible that we was gonna come over here on slave ships way before it happened. That was 400 years ago when we got brought over here on slave ships. You're gonna be a person, right? Let me read this to you. You're gonna be the same person. Let me read it to you.
No, but I don't.
Right? So this is the book of Ecclesiastes. That's a great question, man. It's a heavy matter that you're asking about, but I'm gonna answer it for you. Right? This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. It says, the thing that have been is that which shall be. So whatever happened in the past happens again. You with me? It says, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Ain't nothing that you see that's new.
So like, basically, everything's gonna restart.
Everything regenerates. Exactly. Everything that happened in the past, history repeats itself. Exactly right. Right? So watch this. This is the book of, same book, Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 10. It says, that which have been is named already, and it is known that it is man. So it's saying the thing that has been is known already, and it's talking about you. Right, I'm gonna read it again. It says, that which have been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. So the thing that has been already is talking about you. Your spirit done been here before. Your spirit might have been the spirit of a king in the past. I don't know, whatever, but whatever you did back then, you gonna do it in this life.
So like, say if, like you say everything's gonna regenerate. Say if like my auntie, she passed away, I can go save her before she passed away again.
Nah, you can't. If God wanted to pass it, let me read this. That's a great question. Right, so this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 8. It says, there is no man that have power over the spirit. So the reason you alive is because God got his spirit in you. That's the only reason any of us are alive. When somebody dies, they do what is called give up the ghost. They give up the spirit that God gave to them. Right? So it says, there is no man that have power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death. It says, and there is no discharge in the war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. So whatever God wants to happen is what's going to happen. So no, you can't save your auntie if God wanted her to, if God says it's her time to go, it's her time to go. But your auntie will probably come back. She probably done been here 2 or 3 times before. Right? When you read about Christ in the Bible, they thought that Christ was Elijah. Elijah lived hundreds of years before Christ. But back then our people understood regeneration. Today we don't, because we don't read our Bible. So to answer your question, no, you couldn't, but her spirit will probably come back here in the form of a baby. You ever see sometimes little babies die, right? And people be like, what a baby gonna go to heaven or hell? That baby done been here before. That ain't that baby first time coming here. That's why God is able to judge us, because you can't judge somebody who ain't did nothing. So that baby would have had to have been here before. I had a son, a son that was like 14 days old that died. But it's because God is in control of death. Death is not necessarily a bad thing. Right? Let me read this. Let me go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Death is not necessarily a bad thing, right? This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, we are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. So when you absent from this body, that's when you die, right? Let me go back to Ecclesiastes. Yes, those are great questions, young man, right? Ecclesiastes. So it say to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, chapter 3 and verse 20. It say all go unto one place. All are of the dust. So when you die, they put your body in the ground, right, at a funeral. After so long, your body does what's called decompose, and it turns back into dirt. That's what you was made out of, dirt. That's what the first man was made out of, dirt, Adam. You ever heard of Adam and Eve? Adam was made out of dirt. What color is that dirt? Black. So what color Adam was? Black. The first man was black. So just like us, we so-called black. Well, it's really dark brown, right?
I seen some video like you put up saying you can build body,
Yeah.
eyes,
Right.
just touch it and it comes to life.
Well, that's kind of like what happened with Adam, right? So that's what it's talking about when it say all go into one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Your body decompose after you die. It say, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward? Right? It says, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth. So when we die, when it say you absent from the body, your spirit leaves your body and it go back to the Most High. Because he created your spirit. And when he get ready, he send them spirits back. That's what the Bible says. So you ever seen the movie Lion King? You remember when Mufasa was telling Simba, he asked his dad, he said, Daddy, why can't we eat the antelope? And his daddy told him, hey, well, the antelope eat us. When we die, our body turn into grass. Remember he told him that? That's what happened to animals. So animal spirit go into the ground. It turn into grass. It turn into plants and stuff. That's because grass and stuff is alive. But humans, when we die, our spirit go back to the Most High.
So what you basically doing is spreading the gospel.
That's what I'm trying my best to do. You know what the gospel is? What you think it is?
Like, you telling it to other people if they don't know, and they gotta learn it before the 7 trumpets or something.
You ain't wrong. You're not wrong, right? That is what I'm trying to do, man. So the gospel, the word gospel means good news. So, hold on, let me answer it. Remember your question. Let me finish answering here first. Remember it, don't forget it. So the gospel is what you call the good news, right? So this is what the gospel is, according to the Bible, right? The book of Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. It says, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach the good tidings. Good tidings is another way to say good news. So the only reason I could come out here and do this is because God put his Spirit on me to go out here and do it, to preach it, right? It says to preach good tidings unto the meek. So you know what the word meek means? Meek is somebody like you. Somebody that is they don't think too much of themselves. They don't think they too good to hear and learn about God's word. That's why Christ told us to be as children, because grown people think they know everything. A lot of them do. But children understand that they don't know everything, so they're more willing to listen. So a person like you is what the Bible calls meek, right? So it says to preach. It says to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty unto the captives. So y'all captive. I'm a captive. A captive is somebody who can't leave, right? You can't leave this place and go back to your homeland. Your homeland is that land that they call Israel today. That's your land. You own some land. You know that? You do. Y'all all own some land. This land belongs to our Native American brothers. But they stole it from you. They stole all your land. Who stole the land? You know who? What people? What color he is? That's who stole it. Exactly. So that's just history. It ain't about nobody being mean or nothing like that. It's just a fact that white people stole our land. Why they hate us? That's a good question, man. I'm gonna give you the answer to that. This is why they hate us, man. It started a long time ago. So the biblical name for white people is called Edom. You say Edom? Edom. Edom means red because white is the color of that truck, right? Is anybody that color? No, just like nobody's this color. So they told a lot of lies. They said we this color and that they that color. Is that a lie or the truth? That's a lie. They not that color. You know what color they is? For real? They closer to red. If you slap them, they turn red, right? If they get real mad, what color they turn? Red. So they're gonna show you who their biblical name is. Right? This the book. You ask why they hate us so much. I'm gonna answer that. Lord willing, right? This the book of Genesis. It started a long time ago with two people named Jacob and Esau, right? So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and I'm gonna start at 21. So this is about your ancestor named Isaac. It says, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. So what that means is Isaac had a wife named Rebekah, and she couldn't get pregnant. And so Isaac prayed for his wife so that she could get pregnant, right? It says, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. After Isaac prayed for his wife, she ended up getting pregnant. It says, and while she was pregnant, the children struggled together within her. So she was pregnant with 2 babies at the same time. That's twins, right? But these twins didn't look alike. You ever seen people that were twins but they didn't look alike? That's what kind of twins these was. It's called fraternal twins. Not identical, but fraternal, right? So it says, and the children struggled together within her. So while these 2 babies was in her belly, they was fighting each other. Even from the time they was in her belly, right? It says, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? If my husband prayed for me to have these kids, why are they in my belly fighting like this? That's what she said. It says, and she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are within thy womb.
So one is white and one is black.
One is white and one is black. That's what the Bible just said. Don't touch that. Don't move that. It say 2 nations are in thy womb. You pregnant with 2 nations of people, right? It says, and two manner of people. Even though they both your children, they gonna be 2 totally different types of people.
Wait, Chandri.
Just watch out for that car. Look both ways. Hold on, hey bro. You wanna walk across? Go ahead and walk across. All praise. So it say 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. So out of white people and black people, who run the fastest? Black people. Who play basketball the best? Football. Rap better. Sing better. Black people. That's what it's talking about. It say the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Right? It say
They hated what we were doing.
they hate us because we better than them. That's why they don't like us. That's why they don't. I'm gonna read it to you. It say, and the elder shall serve the younger. So at the end of the day, whichever baby come out first is gonna have to end up being a servant to the younger brother. That's what it say. That's a prophecy, right? It say, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red and hairy. So what people is red? So-called white people, right? It says like a hairy garment. He was real hairy and red. Just like if you see a so-called white man, he gonna be real hairy. If he don't shave all that hair off, he'll be hairy as I don't know what, like a caveman, right? It say, and they called his name Esau. So that's what the Bible called him. The Bible don't call them Caucasians. They don't call them white people. It called them Esau. That's their biblical name. It say, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So you had Jacob and Esau, or black people and white people. So we came out second. Esau came out first. So what did it say about the oldest? What was going to happen? You remember? It said the elder shall serve the younger, meaning at the end of the day, the oldest brother was going to end up being a servant to the younger brother. So Esau is going to have to end up serving you. But is that what's happening right now? Do they serve us? We work for them, right? Who own Walmart? White people. Family Dollar. White people. Zephyr Hills bottled water. White people. Nike. White people. They own everything because they run in the world. You know why? Because they stole your identity.
Yeah, Trump,
Trump, yeah, he lied too.
They stole Michael Jordan brand.
Exactly. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. They stole your identity. They told you Jesus looked like them when the Bible say he got hair like yours. So that's why they hate you, because they not you. They know that you come from a line of kings. Your ancestors is kings. Our women are used to being princesses. Now our women want to be like Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla. And them women don't know no better. They don't know that the way they acting and the stuff they talking about in their music is foolishness. They teaching our women to be what the Bible calls whores. But our women supposed to be married, not dealing with a whole bunch of different men. But the reason the white man put that music out is because he want to destroy us. They want to see us destroyed. Because, I'm going to show you something. This is the book of Judith, chapter 5. They want to see us destroyed. Matter of fact, I'm going to read the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Iniquity is sin. So it's a destruction is going to come to the people who it's a people out here that literally go to sleep thinking about evil. The white people, the Chinese people, the Arab people. They all come together and think about ways to make it easy for us to sin. That's how come they put bacon on your breakfast sandwich. They put it on your sausage. They want you to eat pork from the time you go to sleep, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. They want you to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because eating pork is a sin. And they know as long as you sin, and even if you don't know you sinning, they gonna keep being up here and you gonna keep being down here. They know that. So let me go to the book of Judith. So you gotta understand what's going on out here, man. Like most people grown and they almost old and I don't know what, and they still don't know what's going on. Right? So this is the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 20. It say, now therefore my Lord and governor. So this is a heathen talking to his leader about us. It say, now therefore my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them. So all the nations know that about us. See, our God won't fight for us if we sin. That's what you gotta understand. Our God don't hear our prayers if we living in sin. I'm gonna read it to you. This is the book of John, right? Chapter, matter of fact, the book of Matthew. This is why it's so important for us to read our Bible, man. Because our God don't deal with us and we continuing to sin. Matter of fact, Matthew. Matter of fact, let me read this. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 21. It says, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. So it say everybody that's saying, Lord, Lord, ain't gonna go to heaven. Everybody, just because you see them go to church on Sunday, they're not gonna go to heaven just because they doing that. It says, but he that do the will of my Father which is in heaven. So do you know what the will of the Father is? Hold on, let me show you. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 40 and verse 8. So, yeah, you got to know what the will of the Father is. That's how you going to go to heaven, man. So it says, Psalms 40:8, it says, I delight to do thy will. Meaning I like doing what God's will is. It says, oh my God, yea, thy law is within my heart. So God's laws is what his will is. His will or his purpose for us is to keep his commandments. That makes sense? That's what he created us for. Let me get another witness. Right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. Let's prove it further. So you're going to know what God's will is. You're going to know that before you leave. So this Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. It say, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. So at the end of the day, this is what life is about. It says, fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. So duty is another way to say your job, your purpose. That's the reason why you got breath in your lungs. That's the reason why every single one of us got a beat in our chest. It's because God allowing you to live so that you can keep his commandments. So let's go back to Matthew. Let's go back to the king. So he said, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord. So just because you say with your mouth, I believe in Jesus, it says, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. So what's the will of the Father? God laws, exactly. So that's who's going to enter into heaven, right? Not just people who say, I believe in God. Because if you say you believe, you should do what he say. Simple as that. It say, many will say to me in that day, talking about judgment day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name have done many wonderful works? Then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Christ gonna tell a lot of people, I ain't never know you. I never had a relationship with you because you never did the will of my Father. Right? What's going on, young brother? So Christ gonna say that to a lot of people, man. I didn't know you. Right? So tell him what the will of the Father is. Tell them, young brothers, right now. God's law. So I'm going to read why he's saying that to y'all. This is Matthew 7:21. It say, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. Y'all want to go to heaven? Yeah, absolutely. Because the other choice is where? Hell. So we don't want to go to hell. So it say, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into heaven. Meaning what? Everybody that just go around saying, I believe in God, that's not enough to get you into the kingdom of heaven. Right? It says, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is what? What's the will of the Father? God's laws. So how can you keep God's laws if you don't know none of them? You can't. So that's a problem, right? If I don't know none of the laws, but that's what's gonna get me into the kingdom, how can I get in there? You see the issue with that? Somebody's supposed to be teaching God's laws. So tell them some of the laws you know. What can't we eat? What's a pork? What explain it to them. Like bacon. It's unclean. You eat pork? You eat pepperoni? You don't eat pork? All praise. That's good. You don't eat pepperoni? Pork sausage? Pork chops? Okay, well you eat pork then, brother. You gotta stop eating pork. Ribs. Now they make beef ribs. You can eat that. That comes from a cow. But anything that comes from a pig is pork. You eat gummy bears? Gummy bears, you know gummy bears got pork in them? You ain't know that. I ain't know that. So another thing that comes from pork is gelatin. So what y'all gotta start doing is before you eat something, before you put something in your body, turn the package over and look at the ingredients. Y'all know how to read ingredients. So when you look at the ingredients, if it say pork, if it say gelatin, do not eat it. That's what you call a what? Which is a sin. Absolutely right. What's gonna happen if we keep sinning? We gonna what? It's gonna come back on us. You're right. You're not wrong. Let me show you what the Bible says what's gonna happen if we keep sinning. It's the book of Romans, chapter 6, and verse 23. It say, "For the wages of sin is death." Talking about everlasting death. Talking about going to the lake of fire. So is going to the lake of fire worth eating? Is eating pork worth going to the lake of fire? Nah, because that's forever. That's forever. But why would you try to? So let me ask y'all something. This is why y'all gotta think deep about this. Y'all young, but y'all smart. So I'm gonna talk to y'all like grown men. Who does it cost a lot of money to put a commercial on TV? Yeah. It's expensive to make a commercial. So you ever see them commercials about, it say, go to Checkers and get this double cheeseburger with bacon on it? You ever see the commercials with McDonald's and they say they got a new sandwich with bacon on it? So that stuff costs a lot of money. Who owns McDonald's? Black people or white people? White people. So why would you spend all that money to promote eating something that God tell us not to eat? Why would you think they would do that? To get your money, but also to keep you in sin. That's why they doing that. It's like I was telling that young brother, y'all are God's chosen people. God looked just like you. He got hair just like your hair, just like his hair. You look like God. You can smile. That's something to smile about. That God look like you. You should smile over that, man. He ain't a white man like they put on TV. But why do they put you? If he look like you and like that, why would they make him look white? To play with your mind, what you say?
To portray racism.
To portray racism, exactly. That's a very astute answer. That's a very smart answer. You're absolutely right. That's called white supremacy. That's what they doing when they do that. They don't think that they act like there's nothing wrong with that. But if I come out here with this sign and I teach y'all out the Bible that God looks just like y'all, they'll say I'm racist. But believe it or not, God is racist. He loves his people. You ever read that? I'm gonna show you. I ain't gonna make nothing up. Right? It's the book of Malachi. Let's go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. So God say he loves y'all. Y'all come from Israel. He say, I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Because we still say that to this day. A lot of us don't think God loves us. We see our people getting killed. We live in poverty. We live in bad neighborhoods, and that we'll look at that and say, man, God don't love us. Why he let us live like this? Why he let that happen to us? But God is doing what you call judging us. He putting us on punishment because we keep being disobedient to him, right? So it says, was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob. So Esau is who the white people come from. Jacob is who y'all come from. So the Bible say, I don't love Esau. It say, I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So he hate Esau, but he love y'all. God love his people, y'all his chosen people. Right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. God love y'all, man. Y'all are the children of God. He look like y'all. That make you smile, man. You should smile over that. That's a beautiful thing, man. To know that the one and only true God loves y'all. Yeah, that'll make you smile. That's enough to make you smile right there. Right? This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. It says, for thou art holy people unto the Lord thy God. So y'all are holy people. It says, the Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. So everybody's not God people. It says, the Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So out of all the people on the face of the earth, God chose y'all. He chose y'all, so-called black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people. Those are God's people. So the question is, if we God's people, how come all the other nations own everything? What you said on the mic?
Because they're turning away from God.
Absolutely right. Clap it up for that brother, man. You absolutely right. Because of us turning away from God. That's called sin. You absolutely right. I'm going to show you you're right. You're right, brother. Right? This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. It says, so it's going to say it in an old school way, what you just said. It said, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So hearken means to listen. So Moses is telling us this is what's going to happen if y'all don't listen to God, right? It says, if you do not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I have commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So Moses told, you heard of Moses? Split the Red Sea. So Moses told our people, black people, a long time ago, he said, look, God done brought y'all out of Egypt. He split the Red Sea. Y'all know he God. He showed you he real. If y'all don't do what he say do, then God is going to put curses on y'all. Is a curse a good or a bad thing? A bad thing. I'm going to show you one of the curses God put on us for disobeying him. You know what this is a map of? Well, yeah. Well, you got America, Africa, Europe, America, South America. You're right. But what that is a map of is the transatlantic slave trade. So you know how we got here? How?
That's because I think it was
The settlers? What people was the settlers? What color were they? The Europeans. The white people, right? Uh-huh.
And they were trying to settle the land because South America and North America and Native American people were not illnesses.
Very good.
So they went to new land, which after again is unfortunately enslaved.
They forcefully enslaved black people. You absolutely are right, man. And so let me ask you the other question. You said they came to discover this land, right? So were there people here when they got here?
Yes,
Native American. So can you discover something if people was already here? So that's a lie, right? They lied about discovering this land. So they forcefully enslaved us, and then they lied and said they discovered this land because it was people already here. How old are you? 12 years old, and you know that. Come on now. You brilliant, man. Don't let nobody ever tell you different. You absolutely right. So that was a lie that they discovered this land. So they forcefully enslaved us, and you see all these arrows, how it's going from, all the arrows are coming from here, and they going to South America, they going to Europe, they going to North America, they coming, some of them went all the way around and all the way this round to Asia. Those arrows represent where they took us on them slave ships. So that's why if you go to Europe today, you go to London, you'll see black people over there. You'll see black people in China. You go to South America, you'll see people that look just like you because they shipped us all over the world. That was a prophecy that Moses told us would happen, right? I'm gonna read it to you, right? This is the book of Exodus, Deuteronomy 28. The same book where he said, if y'all don't listen to God, God gonna put curses on y'all. So this is one of them curses. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, I wanna see if you can connect this. You remember what Moses You remember Moses, right? He freed us from Egypt, right? What was we doing in Egypt before he freed us?
Labor.
Labor. Was it paid labor? Free. So what's that called?
Slavery.
Slavery. You absolutely right. So if we were slaves in Egypt and Moses took us from Egypt, he freed us from what? Slavery. So this says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now I want you to look at something. Egypt, you know what continent Egypt is in?
Egypt, Africa.
Absolutely right. Africa. You absolutely right. Egypt would be like right here in Africa. So when Moses is saying all this to us, we were like over here, still in Africa. So if I'm here, do I need a ship to get from here to here in Africa? So let me see. So we was like right here with Moses. Egypt is like right here. Do I need a ship to go from here to here? No, because it's in land, right? So what you got to understand is that that's what you call a metaphor. You got $1?
No.
I'm going to show you something. I think I got $1. Yep. Got $1. So hold it. Look on the back of that dollar. You see two things. Now turn it over. You see two things on the back of that dollar. What you see?
A pyramid and
A pyramid and an eagle. So this is the United States dollar, right? Are there any pyramids? Do you see any pyramids? That's a symbol. You know what that's a symbol of? You know why they put a pyramid on the US dollar? Because they know that this is spiritual Egypt. The same thing you said, we were doing free labor in Egypt, right? And if we was working for free in Egypt, what did that make the Egyptians?
slaves.
No, I'm saying if the Egyptians had us working for free for them, what did that make them? A bunch of what?
Evil.
Well, it made them evil, but it made them a lot of money, right? If I work you and don't pay you for hundreds of years, you'll get rich, right? So that's what the United States is telling us. The same, how did the United States get all their money, you know?
I think Africa.
From us working for free. For working for free for them in the cotton fields, for working for free for them in the watermelon fields, for working for free for them in the sugarcane field. Do you know, let me see that dollar. So, what's that a picture of? Look at that, hold that. What's that a picture of?
From the White House.
The White House. You know who built that?
Black slaves.
Black slaves built it. You think they got paid? No. They didn't get paid for that. So if we did all this free labor for them and they made all this money off of us, that would make them very rich, right? So that's why they put a pyramid on the back of their dollar, to show you this is how we got our wealth. The same way ancient Egypt got their wealth from the Israelites being slaves, America got their wealth from the Israelites being slaves. That makes sense? So let me get that. So let me read this again, right? You're on point, young man. So this is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 68 again. I want you to see if you can connect the dots. It say, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now you said we were slaves in Egypt. Now watch this. Let's go to the book of Exodus. How you doing, man? These brothers learning some history. You want to learn it with them? You got a minute? Oh, you got to go to the house? Okay. All right, so listen to this, young man. It's Exodus 20 and verse 1, it says, and God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt with Moses, right? It says, out of the house of bondage. So the Bible calls Egypt the house of bondage. You know what bondage is?
Like captured slaves.
Captured, slavery. So the Bible literally calls Egypt, it says Egypt, the Hebrew for that is Mizraim. Mizraim means misery, because when we were in Egypt, it was miserable being a slave. So the Bible calls Egypt the house of bondage or the house of slavery. So God says Egypt and slavery mean the same thing. You with me? Okay, watch this. So now keep that in mind. Egypt and slavery mean the same thing. So God says in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, in the curses, he said, if y'all don't listen to God, after Moses done brought y'all out of Egypt, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt or slavery again with ships. You see that? So God said, if y'all don't listen to me, I'm gonna make sure that y'all go into slavery with a ship. That's what that is. That happened to us. That is history, right? It's a fact that we came over here on slave ships. So who is God talking to when he said that?
Us enslaved people.
Us so-called African Americans. But the Bible don't call us African Americans. The Bible calls us Israelites. That's what you are. That's what your people are. That's what Jesus was. You see what I'm saying? He was an Israelite. Christ was an Israelite. You an Israelite. Those are God's chosen people. Moses said that was going to happen to us over 3,000 years ago. That happened in 1619. We've been here for 400 years, over 400 years. So you God's people. That's all I'm out here trying to let our people know, that y'all are God's people. And because y'all are God's people, we got to repent. We got to stop eating the pork. We got to keep, let me show you this. Right here, you got the 10 Commandments, right? It's more than 10, but people are mostly familiar with the 10. Something simple that we should be doing that we don't know is this. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So do you know what the Sabbath day is? So it's a reason why God said, remember it. Because if I tell you remember it, I don't want you to what? I don't want you to forget it. So what happened to us in slavery? You think when we was in slavery, they made sure we knew all our history? No, they didn't. They beat English into you. That's why you speak English to this day. You 11, you say? 12. So that means you was born in 2014. So slave week, the first slave ship landed in Jamestown in 1619. So from 1619 all the way to 2014, when you was born, you speak English. And that's because the settlers beat English into your ancestors. Before your ancestors spoke English, they spoke Hebrew. They spoke Hebrew. They knew that they was Israelites. They didn't think they was no African American. They didn't think they was black. They knew they weren't black people. They knew that they was God's people, that they was Israelites. So when they beat your heritage out of you, they also made you forget what the Sabbath day was. They told you that Sunday was the Sabbath. But guess who made Sunday the Sabbath? Well, you're right. A black man did actually do it. A man named Constantine in 313 AD. That was the year that they made Sunday the Sabbath day. The Sabbath day is supposed to be Saturday, which is today. So I'm gonna explain it to you, right? Watch this, very simple. So y'all very smart, man. I gotta commend y'all. All praises to the Most High. The Bible is not hard to understand. It just takes having a meek spirit like what y'all have, right? So this is the book of Exodus, chapter 31 and verse 13. It says, speak unto the children of Israel. That's y'all, that's me, so-called black people. It says, saying, verily, meaning for sure, my Sabbaths shall ye keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. So God said that the Sabbath day is a sign between us and him. right? Let me keep going. It says, ye shall keep the Sabbath day, therefore, to keep it holy. Holy means set apart, meaning the Sabbath day can't be done like every other day of the week. It's going to tell you how to do that. It says, everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. So the penalty for breaking God's Sabbath is death, right? It says, for whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. It says 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. So it just told us when the Sabbath day is. It said the 7th day of the week is the Sabbath. You know what day is the 7th day of the week? Sunday? You sure? You got your phone? Pull your calendar up on your phone. You got a calendar on your phone? Pull your calendar up. We're going to show you. I ain't mad at you for saying, oh, you got a phone too. Pull your calendar up. Okay, you see the days of the week at the top? What's the first day? Sunday. So what would be the 7th day?
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday. So why we think it's Sunday?
The 18th. Wait.
It's only 7 days in a week. If we can look on our phone and see that Saturday is the 7th day, how come everybody think that Sunday the 7th day?
Because it's
Because they don't know God. Because they don't read this. See how we just read it? He said the 7th day. So he said on the 7th day, which is Saturday, we ain't supposed to do no work. So what you see going on, look around. Work is happening. Is that okay with God? No. All these businesses that you see supposed to be closed today. So the same way there's no work supposed to be done, nobody's supposed to be buying anything today. Work is talking about business. So God said there should be no business being done on the Sabbath day. So how come these people don't know that? You know why? Because they don't believe. You know why they don't believe? You know what happened to all these people you see? Because I don't see nothing but black people, right? What do all of us got in common? What happened to us? Say it on the mic.
we come from ancestors that were enslaved.
Absolutely right. All of us come from ancestors who were enslaved. So when they enslaved us, they took your heritage from you. They took your Bible from you. You know they didn't allow you to read while you was a slave? So if you couldn't read after 100 years of us not reading, none of us didn't know what this said. They didn't know they were supposed to keep the Sabbath day. That's why you see everybody just buying, getting haircuts, cooking, conducting business like there's nothing wrong with it. But you know now. So it's your responsibility now that you know to do what God says do. So on Saturday, you ain't supposed to buy nothing. You gotta wait till the sun goes down on Saturday. That's the end of the day. So technically, from sundown Friday, because they teach us that a new day starts at what time? 12 a.m. But when you look in the sky at 12 a.m., does anything change? No, there's no change. That's the white man made that up. The same people who put your people in slavery taught you that. So if they would put your people in slavery for over 400 years, do you think they would try to tell you the truth about anything? Of course not. They're gonna lie to you as much as they can because they want to keep you in slavery. They want to keep you as a captive. So no, a day does not start at 12 a.m. because nothing changes in the sky. But when the sun goes down, that's a change, right? So from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, like the sun is out right now. When the sun goes down and the stars come out, that's the start of a new day. That makes sense?
I wish you could stay on my phone so I could-
That's cool. That's your partner, right?
Yeah.
He got the YouTube. Show him about the YouTube, King. You can charge the phone. What I teach on YouTube, all the stuff I'm teaching, we teach it on YouTube. You can watch it whenever you want. And Lord willing, I'll come out here every Saturday to do this. All right, what's your name? Noah. Man, you got a powerful name, Noah. Come on, man. Child of God right there. All right, bro. I appreciate you coming back, man. That's cool. Whenever you can, just show on the page, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers, man. Godspeed, man. Y'all be blessed. God bless y'all. All praises to the Most High, man. Like you say, man, out of the mouth of babes, right? Children, right? All praises to the Most High, man. Y'all be blessed. With that, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Kwam Yasha.